Well, if you're seeing this, this means we don't have water in the house. So this morning, flushed the toilet, that worked fine, but then I didn't hear the pump kick on. And then I washed my hands and the water was steadily going down to a drip. So I checked the breaker just to see if the breaker had popped on this for some reason, because this is wired as 110. That's just the way it was wired when I first got here, and I kind of left it that way. It's no big deal, but it just draws more amperage. So sometimes you could have the chance of popping the breaker with these. Although, truth be told, I've never actually had that happen, but it's one of the first things I look for anyways. Second thing I look for is to see if the relay's croaked. Well, in this case, I went down into the crawl space, which is right underneath our front door, and felt the motor, and the motor was really hot, and it was going burn, burn. So I knew that was probably not great. So we got to get a new pump. So while we're waiting for a new pump, I wanted to see if I could just get some water in the house. So I'll show you what I did. So this is a bucket with a whole lot of holes in it, just kind of to keep things from logs and trees and that sort of junk from getting into where the pump is. I got an old school pump, just a regular sump pump, and then it goes to a garden hose and a power cord. And they head straight up the hill to the house. And I'll show you what I did up there to make that work. In the house here, I take and I plug my pump in. Then I got the garden hose. And then we've got one of those exterior frost-free pipes. You just open this up, because as everybody knows, water can flow in 2 different directions. So right now, the water from the river is making its way up this pump, from a sump pump, mind you, so it's not going to be high pressure, but it will be functional. So hey Ted, shall we go check the bathroom, see if there's water in there? Yeah, water? Come on, let's go. You first. There you go. It does look lonely on the front porch. Well, if it had been a good pump, it wouldn't be on the porch. It would be underneath where my feet are right now. I'll come right in here, and even despite the fact that we have no system, that's just air, because things run back down if you don't get out there and shut that thing off before it fills up the line. This is going to do this for a couple of seconds. It's got to get the air out of there. Trust me on this. This will eventually get all the air out. Because the last time I used it, it took me a few seconds to get back out there and shut off the garden hose thing. I don't have a backflow protector on the garden hose thing out there, mostly because I use it like this sometimes. So if I put one on there, it stops the water from coming back in. But in scenarios like this, I actually need the water to come back in. She's getting there. There we are. Now we've got water. Like I said, it's not a massive powerhouse, and it doesn't have much pressure. But I've got hot and cold because this is still going right through the boiling system, boiler. Only thing it won't run is Super Magic Toilet, and I'll show you why. Super Magic Toilet, it's one of these, not frost-free. What is this thing? Mare?
It's got an enclosed...
Yeah, but it's not frost-free. What am I looking for? Moisture-free.
It doesn't sweat.
Doesn't sweat. It's sweat-free. That's what I was looking for. Anyways, there's a little pressure tank in here. So when the water comes in, at your full water pressure level, it pressurizes, fills this tank up, and then locks off. The sump pump can't get to that pressure because the sump pump's only pushing like maybe 4 to 6 pounds. This needs like 35 to 40 pounds to fill it up. So this toilet can't work. Our old toilet could, because the old toilet would have filled up eventually. And then, you know, as long as you've got time, you'll be able to flush. So if you're a survivalist living in the outback and you want to be taken care of for all worst case scenarios, don't get one of these unless you're going to make sure that you've got a water pump that works all the time. A regular toilet you can always fill with a bucket. This, not so much. Water. And I don't want the water to drain back through the line this time. That's what took all the time. And that's what created the whole bubble scenario. So this time, I'm going to shut this off first. That keeps the water from draining back down through there and siphoning action and sending our water back to the river. And then I'll come over here, unplug that little bugger, and it's ready. Hopefully we get our, oh hi Ted. Hopefully we get our new water pump in the next couple hours. But for some reason I always feel the need to be prepared for pretty much everything, no matter what. I was gonna say, right Ted, but he didn't show up. Oh, you did? Sorry. Okay. The motor spins freely. And I'll bet if I fired this up instead of just humming, I'll bet that thing would whip. But here's one of the vanes in here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm pushing as hard as I can, and that is not moving at all. So in this case, the pump itself seized, which is kind of rare. To tell you the honest truth, I haven't run into that before. Usually it's the motor that gives up the ghost, or the pump gives up to the ghost to the point where it doesn't seize. It usually just gets more and more loose until the point where it just doesn't pump water anymore. But yeah, I can't get that to move at all. Interesting. Well, so I probably could have gotten away with just replacing the pump head if I could find one. But in all honesty, I'm glad to get the other motor is more efficient. This one's fairly old, so our work is done here. And then special kudos to my 155-year-old pump here. Although I discovered I've got to do some work on that too. All right. I guess we're going to survive yet another day. I'll see you later.